This is an unabridged audiobook of the story called The Yew Vizier. Part 2. The Hollow Clan Orcs. The infernal brazier bellowed hungrily, a wave of torrid exhaust washing across the canyon. 2 orcs, rejected specimens, one with a skull, concave like the moon, and the other, standing about 3 feet tall, eagerly racked the coals with metal instruments that seemed to be partially melting themselves. The robed orc raised his arms and roared, his voice echoing through the gulch and its innumerable crannies. Immediately, the weary and starving Hollow Clan became an exultant and joyous Hollow Clan, clambering from the recesses they made into homes. It was a chorus of freaks. Even by orc standards, few seemed complete, and the complete ones were markedly wrong in other ways, with deformed spines, unexplainable glows, extra limbs of inexplicable origin and use. All were uniquely unsuitable or too strange for Blood Clan, which desired uniformity, and only admired abnormality when it meant greater tenacity or service to the clan. Moments ago, they hid, in torment, in their spider holes. Now, they stood outside their homes, eager to hear Belloc speak to them directly through the chasm's acoustics. With the ritual announced, the soul jars put to the flame, and the residents of his trench elated for the moment, the robed orc worried in ways he dares not show. The jars abandoned by Blood Clan, as potent and mysterious as they were running out. They'd gotten great mileage out of Bernardo's souls. The general hunger was kept at bay. Impending births were reported, meaning a future for Hollow Clan not foreseen. The clan would want more like what they'd found, but such essence was a rare find indeed. The refuse that made up Hollow Clan were becoming impatient with the shorter duration of these rituals, the much fainter sounds and sights that went with them, and seemed disheartened by the longer waits between burnings. They bade for more, for nightly acts of conjuring Belloc with the brazier, for components like the ones they chanced upon. It was distracting them from holding the line, from staving off hunger, from seeking other rejected orcs and snortlings from Blood Clan's walls to join them in their miserable enclave. The robed orc knew that to keep Hollow Clan obedient, they would need to start finding mediocre souls, refined like the ones they currently had, to find more. Taking any from Blood Clan was out of the question. Hollow Clan's greatest strength was that it had no attention. Its denizens were presumed dead as soon as they'd been cast away from the great fort. The robed orc knew that in the coming days, they'd need to investigate, and possibly even migrate, to the exterior of Petrum. Using the forbidden knowledge that led to his excision from Blood Clan, the robed orc devised a method to strive for this. A small amount of the sorcerous essence contained in the jar had been seeped into a porous black stone that hung about his neck. It glowed, pressed against his chest, reacting to the magical energies he'd attained before and after his outcast from Blood Clan. In the possession of a scout, or a hunting party, it would theoretically help seek out Majoka, and they could be harvested for future contact with Belloc. Tonight, the robed orc would just interpret Belloc's words to begin this migration, and foretell the scavenging of live Majoko. He'd tell them they were on the verge of uncovering something of a pathway to Belloc. It didn't matter, really. If the robed orc could use tonight's rapture to guide the next steps, he fulfilled his duties to guide this forgotten. The robed orc communed through the soul jars as well, far more deeply than the mob in their charge, worshipping echoes, basking in the shadow of mist to imagine times of full bellies and armor that fit. The robed orc, closest to the jars, the brazier, the reagents, was privy to a greater plan, Belloc's promises of a use for this lot of outcasts. The deformities that plagued them wasn't unheard of in orc life cycles. There were always runts and deformed snotlings to cast out, but the increasing numbers had alarmed many of the Robed Orc's superiors when he was in Blood Clan, in ways he wasn't privy to, and strived to learn more. Belloc told him that the growing number of mutations, of outcasts, were Stygian in nature, products of the Void, which even some pseudo-Yumis in the Dark Alliance had taken to studying. Belloc had chosen the Robed Orc. The visions in the mist assured him of this. Hollow Clan would grow, steadily, and continue receiving orders from Belloc directly. The Robed Orc would lead them, and the clan would grow, as Stygian Downcast continued to bless the Blood Clan Orcs, with unacceptable mutations, vestigial abnormalities to be used later. It would just take time, and time at its core was about survival. In the mind of the Robed Orc, these were the final nights of one part of Belloc's plan for the Hollow Clan Orcs, but the beginning nights of another, when the clan's scavengers would venture away from Corpse Creek and begin seeking wizards, mages, and spellcasters, especially those studious of the Void, and receiving more refined intuitions from Belloc through the spiritual elixir. Their bodies could create wings crushed by mortar and pestle. The final burning of this one our Kaernist's remains would hearken a change for Hollow Clan, a step away from being carrion gatherers and scaves towards hunters of man, specifically magic users.